Have you ever wondered if you're getting enough vitamin D? Vitamin D is essential for bone health, immune function, and even mood regulation. The benefits of this vitamin go far beyond just preventing deficiencies, but when it comes to supplementation, there's a lot of confusion. How much do you really need, and can too much be harmful? The truth is, not all vitamin D sources are equal, and many people may not be absorbing it as well as they think. So what's the best way to make sure you're getting enough? Join us as we break down everything you need to know about vitamin D and how to maximize its benefits. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win. Now let's get started. Sunlight is the primary natural source of vitamin D. The body produces this nutrient when the skin is exposed to ultraviolet rays. In the past, our ancestors spent many hours outdoors, and their vitamin D levels were maintained by natural sun exposure. Today, however, many of us spend the majority of our time indoors. Office work, long commutes, and entertainment that keeps us inside have all contributed to a significant reduction in our natural vitamin D production. Studies indicate that more than 90% of the population has blood levels below what is considered optimal, with many individuals falling under 40 nanograms per milliliter. A deficiency in vitamin D is linked to a variety of issues, including muscle aches, joint pain, higher blood pressure, and even mood changes. Have you ever noticed that you rarely get the same quality of sunlight when you are inside a building, in a car, or behind a window? The answer is that glass and other barriers block the ultraviolet rays required for vitamin D production. Even if you feel you are getting some sunlight by sitting near a window, your body is not receiving the full benefit. On top of that, many people are very cautious about sun exposure because of concerns related to skin cancer. Since the early 1980s, public health campaigns have advised people to limit their time in the sun, which has had the unintended effect of reducing vitamin D synthesis across the population. A simple rule of thumb, sometimes called the shadow rule, helps explain why many of us might be missing out on sufficient sun exposure. If you step outside and observe that your shadow is longer than your height, it means the angle of the sun is too low, and the ultraviolet rays are too weak to produce adequate vitamin D. This natural cue can serve as a reminder that even when you are outdoors, you may not be absorbing enough vitamin D. When these factors combine, indoor lifestyles, protective measures against sun damage, and seasonal variations, it becomes clear why supplementation is needed to bridge the gap. Many of us have known vitamin D primarily as the nutrient that keeps our bones strong by regulating calcium. The original guidelines, established decades ago, were designed to prevent conditions like rickets in children and to support bone health in adults. It turns out that vitamin D plays a much broader role. Research now suggests that vitamin D influences approximately 10% of the genetic material in our bodies, affecting functions that range from immune response to muscle function and mood regulation. If our bodies were operating under conditions that allowed plenty of sun exposure, these functions would naturally be well supported. In today's world, where so many of us are sheltered indoors, a daily dose of 10,000 IU can help recreate the balance our bodies once enjoyed. Consider how lifestyle choices affect your vitamin D levels. Many people work in offices and rarely step outside during daylight hours. Urban living and high-rise buildings mean that even when you do venture outdoors, you might only receive a fraction of the vitamin D that a brief period of unfiltered sunlight would produce. This is especially true in regions far from the equator, where the sun's angle is low during many months of the year. When you add in factors such as clothing, sunscreen, and even the routine use of products that contain sun-blocking ingredients, the need for a supplemental dose becomes even more apparent. For these reasons, many health professionals now suggest that 10,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily is not only safe but necessary for many adults. Have you ever felt muscle tightness in your lower back or experienced aches that seem to radiate into the hips and thighs? These types of discomfort are not uncommon, and they might be linked to insufficient vitamin D levels. When your vitamin D is low, the production of nitric oxide, a compound that helps regulate blood pressure, can suffer. This may result in a slight increase in blood pressure and contribute to general body aches. In addition, low vitamin D levels have been connected with changes in mood, including symptoms of depression and anxiety. A proper balance of vitamin D supports the immune system, helps manage inflammation, and keeps the body's systems running smoothly. For many individuals, the daily supplement of 10,000 IU is a practical way to maintain these essential levels, even if the number seems high at first glance. It is important to recognize that vitamin D needs are not the same for everyone. People with darker skin naturally have more melanin, which reduces the amount of ultraviolet light that penetrates the skin to produce vitamin D. This means that individuals with darker skin require up to 10 times the amount of sun exposure compared to those with lighter skin to generate the same vitamin D levels. If you fall into this category, you may have experienced that even when spending time outdoors, your vitamin D levels remain lower than expected. In addition, individuals with certain health conditions, such as irritable bowel syndrome or other forms of inflammation in the gut, may have trouble absorbing vitamin D efficiently. Overweight individuals, as well as those who are pregnant or breastfeeding, often need a higher intake to meet their body's demands. When you look at the numbers, the jump from 600 IU to 10,000 IU may seem dramatic, but the actual quantity of vitamin D is measured in micrograms. In fact, 10,000 IU translates to just 0.25 milligrams, which helps to put the dosage into perspective. Think of it this way: if your body were designed to produce vitamin D naturally from sunlight, spending about 20 minutes outside on a bright summer day would typically generate the same amount that a supplement provides. In other words, a daily dose of 10,000 IU is similar to receiving a consistent, moderate dose of sun exposure that many of us simply do not get today. With modern life limiting our exposure to natural sunlight, a higher supplement dose is a practical way to support overall health. Many factors can affect the absorption and effectiveness of vitamin D. The body must convert vitamin D from its inactive form into an active form before it can perform its functions. Some people experience what is sometimes called vitamin D resistance, where the measured level of vitamin D in the blood does not accurately reflect the active form available for use by the body. This can be due to variations in the vitamin D receptor or other issues with conversion processes in the body. In some cases, genetic differences mean that the receptors responsible for absorbing vitamin D are not as effective. If you have concerns about how well your body is processing vitamin D, you might consider discussing a DNA test with your healthcare provider to get more personalized information. Another factor that affects vitamin D levels is exposure to certain chemicals. Everyday exposure to plastics and other long-lasting chemicals in the environment can interfere with the body's ability to absorb vitamin D. These chemicals, sometimes called forever chemicals, are present in many common items and may disrupt normal nutrient uptake. Such interference means that even if you are taking a supplement, the amount that actually enters your system might be lower than expected. This is one of the reasons why many experts believe that a higher daily dose, such as 10,000 IU, is necessary in today's world. Other personal factors also play a role. The thickness of your skin, for example, can affect how much vitamin D is produced when you are exposed to sunlight. Overweight individuals may also experience reduced absorption, meaning that their bodies require a higher dose to reach optimal levels. People who suffer from chronic gut inflammation or conditions like irritable bowel syndrome might not absorb vitamin D as well as those with healthy digestive systems. During pregnancy and breastfeeding, the demand for vitamin D increases, and many women find that a larger dose is needed to support both their own health and that of their baby. Taking a daily dose of 10,000 IU becomes a practical recommendation for these groups as well, helping to meet the higher demands of the body. It is not enough to focus on vitamin D in isolation. Other nutrients play an important role in ensuring that vitamin D can work effectively. Magnesium, for example, is essential for the conversion of vitamin D into its active form. When you increase your vitamin D intake, your body's need for magnesium also goes up. Without sufficient magnesium, the benefits of vitamin D may be limited. In addition, nutrients such as vitamin K2 and zinc are believed to work together with vitamin D to support overall health. Paying attention to your intake of these complementary nutrients can help you achieve a better balance and support healthy bodily functions. For some people, vitamin D is used not only for maintenance but also for therapeutic purposes, particularly in the case of autoimmune diseases. There are examples of medical professionals who have used high doses of vitamin D to help manage these conditions. In one instance, a doctor in Brazil has shared numerous examples of patients experiencing improvements after increasing their vitamin D levels. In an extreme case, one individual's treatment plan involved taking as much as 100,000 IU daily under careful medical supervision. Such high doses are not recommended for general use. They are reserved for specific therapeutic contexts and always involve close monitoring of blood levels, especially calcium levels. For most people seeking to maintain overall health, a daily dose of 10,000 IU remains a conservative and practical choice. Safety is a frequent concern when discussing high-dose vitamin D supplementation. It is natural to worry that taking 10,000 IU every day might lead to toxicity. However, evidence shows that vitamin D toxicity is extremely rare and typically only occurs when someone consumes hundreds of thousands of IU for several months. The body has mechanisms to regulate vitamin D levels, and the conversion process ensures that a modest dose, even one that seems high on paper, remains safe when taken as a maintenance dose. Of course, any change in supplementation should be discussed with a healthcare provider, but the data suggests that 10,000 IU daily does not pose a significant risk for most people. Many people are now turning to home testing for vitamin D as a way to monitor their levels and adjust their supplementation accordingly. Home testing kits are available and can provide a clear picture of whether your vitamin D levels are in a healthy range. With this information, you can make informed decisions about whether a daily dose of 10,000 IU is appropriate for you. These tests do not require a prescription and can be a useful tool for anyone looking to take charge of their own health. By checking your vitamin D levels periodically, you can be confident that your supplementation plan is meeting your needs. The modern lifestyle presents challenges that our ancestors never faced. The reduction in natural sun exposure, increased use of protective products, and widespread presence of chemicals in the environment all contribute to lower vitamin D levels. In the past, spending time outdoors was a natural part of daily life, and vitamin D deficiency was less common. Today, the situation is different, and many health experts believe that a daily supplement of 10,000 IU of vitamin D3 is a reasonable way to compensate for the changes in our environment and behaviour. The goal is to provide the body with the equivalent of what it would naturally produce if it were given ample sunlight every day. Have you ever reflected on your daily routine? Consider the number of hours you spend indoors, the amount of time you spend behind screens, and the way modern habits reduce your exposure to natural light. These are important factors that contribute to vitamin D deficiency. By understanding your own lifestyle and making small adjustments, such as taking a daily supplement, you can help your body maintain healthy vitamin D levels. Even if you try to spend more time outdoors, factors such as weather, location, and the use of sunblock often limit the amount of vitamin D your skin can produce. In these cases, supplementation offers a practical and reliable alternative. The discussion about vitamin D is not solely about correcting a deficiency, it is about supporting overall health. Vitamin D plays a role in many systems in the body, including the immune system, muscle function, and even mental well-being. When vitamin D levels are optimal, many people experience fewer aches, a more stable mood, and better overall energy. This is why paying attention to your vitamin D intake can be one of the simplest steps you take toward improving your health. A daily maintenance dose of 10,000 IU of vitamin D3, when paired with the right levels of complementary nutrients, can help you feel more balanced and supported in your daily life. It is worth considering that the original guidelines for vitamin D intake were developed decades ago. Back then, the main focus was on preventing bone diseases like rickets. The broader benefits of vitamin D have only become apparent as our understanding of the nutrient has grown. The recommendations from the past do not fully address the needs of modern adults who live in an environment with limited sun exposure and various dietary challenges. Upgrading the daily dose to 10,000 IU is a response to current realities rather than a radical or dangerous step. It is a practical adjustment to help maintain a nutrient that supports many aspects of health. When you think about the potential benefits of maintaining proper vitamin D levels, it is clear that even a seemingly high dose like 10,000 IU is a small price to pay for improved overall well-being. Have you ever experienced unexplained fatigue, mood swings, or muscle aches? These symptoms can sometimes be linked to low vitamin D, and increasing your intake may help alleviate them. The idea is not to chase extreme numbers or to take risks with your health, but rather to align your vitamin D levels with what your body would naturally have received if it were exposed to regular sunlight. By making this adjustment, you may notice improvements in energy, mood, and overall comfort. This conversation is not intended to replace professional medical advice. Instead, it offers a perspective on why many people are moving toward a daily dose of 10,000 IU of vitamin D3. If you are thinking about making changes to your supplementation routine, it is a good idea to talk with a healthcare provider who understands your personal health history. They can offer guidance based on your unique situation and help you monitor your levels over time. With the availability of simple home testing kits, you can take an active role in understanding your own nutrient status. Modern life has changed the way our bodies function in many ways, and vitamin D is one nutrient that has been affected significantly. With less time spent outdoors and more exposure to barriers that block sunlight, our natural vitamin D production has decreased. A daily supplement of 10,000 IU of vitamin D3 offers a straightforward solution to this problem. It provides a consistent dose that helps maintain healthy levels, supporting a range of bodily functions that many people rely on for overall well-being. The benefits include supporting a strong immune system, reducing inflammation, and contributing to healthy muscles and bones. If you have been curious about whether you should change your vitamin D routine, consider your own lifestyle habits. Reflect on the time you spend indoors, the use of sunblock in your daily routine, and even the kinds of products you apply to your skin. Each of these factors plays a role in determining how much vitamin D your body produces naturally. For those who find that their natural levels are not where they need to be, supplementing with 10,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily is a practical and effective solution. The conversion of 10,000 IU into just 0.25 milligrams underscores that the amount of actual substance you are consuming is minimal, even if the number appears large at first glance. The importance of vitamin D goes beyond just one aspect of health. It touches on many systems in the body and contributes to a balanced state that supports daily functioning. Have you ever noticed that on days when you spend a bit more time in the sun or take a vitamin D supplement, you feel a little more energetic? This is not a coincidence. Your body benefits from the nutrient in ways that can translate into better overall health. Whether it is supporting the immune system, keeping muscles functioning properly, or even contributing to a steadier mood, vitamin D plays a role in keeping you well. For those who are considering this change, it is useful to remember that the daily dose of 10,000 IU is designed to mimic the consistent production of vitamin D that would occur with regular, unfiltered sun exposure. This approach does not represent a sudden, radical change, but rather a steady maintenance dose that works with your body's natural processes. It is a response to the modern environment where opportunities for natural vitamin D synthesis are often limited. With proper monitoring and the support of complementary nutrients such as magnesium, vitamin K2, and zinc, a daily intake of 10,000 IU can be a reliable way to keep your levels where they should be. Taking control of your vitamin D intake is a practical step toward better health. It is one of the few adjustments you can make that may have noticeable benefits with relatively little cost or risk. Whether you decide to spend more time outdoors or rely on supplementation, the goal is to maintain a balance that supports the many roles vitamin D plays in your body. By choosing a daily regimen that includes 10,000 IU of vitamin D3, you are addressing a common deficiency that many people experience in today's environment. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.